What's happening? Yeah. Welcome to C Minus Society with Chaz Rodgers. Chaz Rodgers. Let me give you guys a little backstory on C Minus Society. C Minus Society is about a young man from Lansing, Michigan, who was destined to be a bum. He was destined to never be shit in his life. And through sheer will and grit and tenacity, he raised all the way up to write some shows for Bounce TV. I waited for applause right there. Now, Bounce TV is a small network that you probably haven't heard of, but they do air television shows, particularly Family Time and In the Cuts. I'm bringing the mic up just a little bit because I'm speaking low on purpose, and then once I get loud again, to save you guys' ears, I'll put it back down. Shout out to Cam, produces the show, Transit Pictures. Thank you, Cam. Where was I? Oh, yes, a small TV show that he writes for. And through grit, tenacity, and sheer will. Well, I already said that part. But the point is that now I'm at the very beginning of my dreams in Hollywood. And you, the people, get to take this journey with me. Yeah. Wait for applause again. And exactly, you guys. And that's how we are here today. That is what brings us together. A C minus society. I was a C minus student. Yeah, not only was I a C minus student, I had this teacher tell me that I would always be average. I had did some report and I got like a C on it, and I was like, woo, because I thought I was going to fail. And she was like, you're happy being average? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, you'll always be average. And I was like, I don't give a shit. I was so hyped. I was like, woo! And she was like, where's your sense of pride? And I was like, who gives a shit? Woo! And I was just so happy to pass that class because I knew I was bigger than 8th grade science, you know? I'm trying to make that was supposed to be the end all be all, like, oh, you can't pass this, you'll never succeed in life. Like, get out of here. All right, you taught me the periodic table, and I still don't know that shit. Okay? I still don't know. I've never had to use a periodic table. Let me tell you something though. All right. This is going off the rails. I'm an idiot. I know that. All right. I say that all the time, and I'm an idiot. I know it, and I love it because it helps me always know that I have more to learn. That's what being an idiot does for me. And I'm the first one to always say I'm an idiot. I have no problem looking you in the eyes and telling you I'm an idiot, and I know it, and I love it. And I'm very happy that I decided that I discovered I was an idiot, because it let me learn. I thought I knew some shit and I didn't know anything, and then I was like, oh my God, I can go learn how to live a nice, healthy, successful, happy life now. All right. So today we're talking about Today we're talking about work ethic. Your work ethic. We're talking about your work ethic. I think people think they have a good work ethic. I think for the most part, if you ask people, do you work hard? They'll be like, yeah, I work hard. And I don't think so. I don't think people understand what the work ethic really means. I think it's way more than about how many hours you put into doing whatever you're doing. You know what I mean? I think it's way more strategical. Strategical. I think it's way more strategy that involves in your work ethic than doing stuff. You know, being busy without a plan, being busy without focus, just doing stuff, I don't think it's a good work ethic. I think it's a facade to keep you feeling like you're doing something. You know, there's this thing. When I was a young comedian and I first moved to LA, I was doing a lot. I was like doing stand up, I'm doing acting classes, I'm working 2 jobs, I'm like doing all this other stuff, doing improv. And I was really busy, but nothing was happening. And I was like, Dad, I keep doing it, and I'm just wearing myself out. And it was like a shotgun blast, where like a shotgun is really great up close, you know, but I had a long distance goal, right? I was like, I'm gonna go like, it's going to take 5 to 10 years to complete. And I was doing all this in this big burst. And if you use a shotgun and you try to shoot, 100 feet down the way, you're never going to hit anything. It's just going to go poof. So then I had to learn about focus, right? I had this whole thing I had to learn about how to focus. And I was like a sniper shot, because you only need one bullet to hit your target, you know? And a sniper shot, you can hit 100 feet away easily. Right? So I was like, well, do you want to be a shotgun blast or do you want to be a sniper? And I was like, a sniper is most likely to hit his target from 100 feet away. So I was like, sniper, baby. Give me that sniper life. And it took me a long time to learn about that sniper life. You know? Because look, hey, I play a lot of video games that are violent, and a shotgun's always the best thing to have. Right? The sawed-off shotgun up close, kaboom. I love it. But if I want to sneak up on somebody and hit my shit, sniper, baby. Right? That's way better. All right, anyways. This had nothing to do with anything, guys. All right, so today we're going to talk about work ethic. All right, so first let me go to one of the people who work ethics I adopted, and it's my man Tony Baker. When I first met Tony Baker in 2008-ish, 9-ish, 2008, 9-ish, we were was doing stand-up around, and I thought I was doing something. I was hitting like, a stage a night, maybe. I heard this thing Chris Rock said he had hit like a stage a night every night for 5 years, and that was the goal. And I met Tony, and Tony was hitting like 3 to 5 a night. And I was like, I didn't know this was possible. I was like, I didn't know. Tony's out to 2, 3 in the morning. I'm like, this is exhausting, bro. How are you doing this? And and when I met Tony, he had just started stand-up. I have been doing it for a few years already. And he might have been a couple years in, maybe year one in. And he was already like prominent in Los Angeles in the stand-up scene. And I was like, oh, this guy had to be like a 5-year vet at least. And I'm like, hey, man, how long you been doing it? And he was like, about a year. And I was like, what? I was like, you're too damn good to be doing this for a year. But some people have it. And until I started rolling with him, and I was like, oh, this cat works. I was like, this cat works. As soon as it was time to go out at 5, and I was like, he come pick me up. That's how we became friends, because I was a bum and my car blew up or something like that. And he started coming to get me. And I was just like, yo, this cat's work ethic is insane. And it's no surprise to me Tony Baker is a popular comedian as talented as he is, because he worked his ass off consistently for years, probably a decade now. I'm sure he's been doing this I think he hit about at least 10 years he's been doing this. And there's no surprise. And for those who don't know Tony Baker, go check him out, man. He's hilarious. All right? But he was the first person in Los Angeles I was like, oh, I'm not doing shit. I was like, I'm not doing a damn thing. I thought I was doing a lot. But Tony only did stand-up, and I saw that he picked one thing to focus on, and it was amazing, his results. And he's still going, and that's the scary part. I legit walk around with this dude, and he gets called. It sucks being around him. And we'll be out somewhere, and someone's like, hey, Tony, can I get a picture? And then, like, I'm standing there, and they're like, hey, can you take this picture? I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I do stuff, too. They're like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, 1, 2, 3. All right. Can you take another? Here's your goddamn camera. All right, I'm not taking another picture. All right, give me the camera. All right, got your good lighting right there. Okay, that's how we do. All right, so I'm gonna go. So there's 3 things I think that help your work ethic. One is nailing down your focus, picking one thing that you want to focus on. I know you're talented. I know you got a lot of energy. I know you want to do 1,000 things in your life. I know. I'm well aware how talented you are. I know you can sing. I know you can dance. I know you can act. I know you're a science major. I know you're a scuba dive instructor. All right, I know you're a personal trainer. I know you produce. I know you do all this stuff. You're an amazing person. You're incredibly talented. I know that. But you're doing a bunch of stuff. You can't focus on one thing. And that's taking all your energy and effort away from something for growing or one thing, because you're trying to do 1,000 things. But imagine picking 1 or 2 things, preferably one, that you can put your energy into, and it's amazing. Okay, I call it, like, I do 1A, 1B. Okay, I pick one thing I'm gonna focus on, and I put like 80% of my time into that, and then I have B, when I put 20% of my time into something else. Okay, and that's outside of like family and living and all that other cute stuff. Okay, that's how I do it. I didn't get that from any books. That's just my method. I guess there's a whole 80-20 thing, right? There's a whole 80-20 rule. I always mix it up, but I think it's like a 20%. Nope, I'm gonna fuck this rule up. I always mess this rule up. 80% of your income, 80% of your success, or whatever it is, will come from 20%. I'm gonna mess it up, guys. Anyways, there's an 80-20 rule that I always mess up. I don't follow it because I clearly don't know it. All right, but how I do it is spend 80% of my time doing one thing that I know is gonna keep me somewhere. So right now, this is writing, right? Writing for television, and I know that I keep getting work I get way more work and offers from writing for people than I do from stand up. All right. So that's why I'm like, I know this. Kenya Barris, who created Blackish, I think he originally started doing what's that shit called? Reality shows. Okay. And then he created a show based off his life, Blackish. Anthony Anderson's the star. Tracy Ellis Ross. All right. And then he got this big, then he did like college-ish, no, what's it called? Adultish, something. You guys know it's a spinoff. And then he's doing mixed-ish. And then he got this big-ass deal from Netflix to do a show for, got like $100 million deal to develop over at Netflix, right? And then one of the shows coming out on Netflix, he's starring in, okay? And I was like, huh. Now, let me not say he's starring in it, he's acting in it. How about that? And I said, huh. All that from writing, all that from creating, all that from developing. It was like that was the first mission, was to write, right? And I said, well, then you can go do whatever you want to do. It's the same thing when I look at Larry David, who was he was a stand-up comedian, a writer for Jerry Seinfeld, created Seinfeld with Seinfeld, and he was a showrunner for Seinfeld for a long time. And then he went off, and years later, he did Curb Your Enthusiasm. But his whole goal originally, which is why he did stand-up, was to be a star. You know, it just wasn't the thing that popped for him right away. But he kept writing and he kept developing and he kept working and eventually had his own show. And I just think about, like, you keep focus on that thing you want to do. You know, that thing that actually, whether I'm telling you, whether it's if you're a scuba diver instructor and you want to be a marine biologist. All right, this is such a random ass thought. Okay, because there's somebody out there like that. But I'm like, everything you do, you can always spend a little time getting better. And I, even when I'm talking about, like, if you go into college, you don't have to go off and take, I don't know how the credits work, but you don't have to go take 4 classes a semester. You can literally do 1 to 2, lighten your load, and you will get there. All right. So, first thing is nailing down your focus. Right, whatever you want to do. What's the one thing you really want to do? And I know you're gonna pick 5 things that you really want to do. Pick one. Pick one thing. Focus on it. Learn how to make that as efficient as possible, okay? Let's say for stand-up, let's take a Tony Baker. And I think it starts 24 hours is your work ethic, all right? You have to work for 24 hours. This is what I mean. I know you have to sleep. It's not what I mean. This is what I mean. You got to make sure you get enough rest, whatever you need. That should be planned. I'm going to sleep 6 to 8 hours. If you sleep 8, I'm against it. I think you can sleep 6, and you'll be fine. You're young. You're young. You can sleep 6 hours and you'll be fine. All right. But get the rest that you need, depending on what you're doing, because you need a rest. All right. Excuse me. The food you eat. All right. The food you eat, whatever's going to give you, if you're eating hamburgers all day, man, yeah, you're going to have a tough go in the morning. All right. Right. So I think those are things that you plan on. That's part of that focus, the food you eat to keep your fuel going. The people around you, your environment. Okay. Who's around you. All right. Are they people who are focused? Are they people who are go-getters? Are they people who are trying to do what you're doing? Are they people who can help you get where you're going? All right, surround yourself with those people. That's all planned. Those are the things that I think people overlook when they think about your work ethic. Me being with Tony every day sped up my comedy chops tremendously. Me working with Bentley Kyle Evans, who's the guy who created Jamie Foxx Show. He was the showrunner on Martin, owns his own studio now, Harvard Studios. This is who I work for, Family Time in the Cut. Work ethic is crazy, but he plans this. And working with those guys, that's who I surround myself with. I surround myself with champions. You know what I mean? People who are going to help me get better every single day. And I think that's huge in your work ethic. It's a big part of it that we don't look at. I'm like, who are you around? Some people are by themselves. You got to go find a crew who thinks like you. You got to go surround yourself with champions in whatever field you want to be in. All right. So there's 2 books that I really liked when we talk about focus. One is Laser Sharp Focus. All right. Laser Sharp Focus. Oh man, I should have got you guys the author. Laser Sharp. I'm gonna get you the author right now. Laser Sharp Focus talked about a lot of different things in that book. And some of those things was like the environment, who you're with, the sleeping, all that stuff that I never thought about when trying to reach your goals. I really legit. I really legit was thinking like, yeah, this is enough. And it goes into this, like, all right, if you do stand up, and I'm with It's more about this too, like stand up. Let's take stand up. Take a stand up as an example. All right, if I'm a comedian, I'm new to LA. I'm going to go find a bunch of different shows, right? And then I'm going to find the people who book those shows, okay? And then I'm gonna go to the show. I'm gonna support the show, right? And then I'm gonna introduce myself to that booker. And before I even ask him for shit, I'm just gonna keep coming. And I might even try to run my own mic, right? I'm gonna say I have my own open mic on my own show. I'm gonna ask them to be on my show before I ask to be on their show, okay? You know what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's building a relationship. You know what I mean? Those are things like that some of these books taught me. It was like, yo, don't go ask for something. What can you do for somebody else first? Okay? That's going to help you build later on. That's just a good idea. All right? I'm still trying to find the author for you guys. Forget it. Who cares? I wrote it, for you guys know. So Laser Sharp Focus was like a plethora of different ideas and strategies to help you stay focused. Same thing with like, that was the one that told me to go get a desk. I was like always trying to write on my couch, right on my bed, and I was falling asleep. And I was like, get a desk. Get yourself an environment where it's designed to work. And that was one of the biggest tools. Because then once I sat down, I'm like, ooh, it's time to work. I can't just BS right here. It's time to work. And I was like, it was such a great psychological thing. Now, Legend Shot Focus, man, it's a pretty boring book. It's pretty boring. I do audiobooks, and it's pretty boring. But what you get out of it is amazing. Because I don't know what's going to work for you. There's a bunch of different things in there, and something will work for you. I promise. I promise you. Guarantee. From Chaz Rodgers. All right. The other thing was planning. So you focus on what you want to do, then you plan it, right? And that was like, what time you want to sleep, all that good stuff. The two books I really read were Linchpin by Seth Godin and The One Thing. And damn it, I didn't write the author again. But I'll get it to you guys in the by the end of the video. Probably not by the end of the video. It'll probably be in the what's the shit called? The details, Cam? What's it called? Description. It'll be in the description. All right. Shut up. Stop judging me. All right. So, Linchpin by Seth Godin was one of my favorite books, man. Linchpin was like, hey, man, can you be that one person that if you pull this pin out, everything falls apart? Like, they need you right here. What is that in your field? And I thought that was like the greatest thing. Whatever field you are, if you're removed, where everything fall apart. He was like, that guy who needs to be there can ask and negotiate for whatever they want. Be the linchpin. So work ethic wise, I was like, yo, what do I have to do to be that guy? And not that it's in that if you pull it away, it'll fall apart, but like, you'll know that you're less efficient without me. I really wanted to be that person. So right now, even with, for where we're at, I help run the writer's room. I never say like I run the writer's room. I do a lot. Okay. I do a lot, and I wanted to do a lot, and I wanted to take that upon myself, for me to learn. Right. But also it was like, I want to make sure that I'm important and I'm irreplaceable. Like, can you work that hard? And, I'm trying to make sure that no one else can match my work ethic. You know what I mean? When people are like, I don't know how Chaz does this all day. I'm like, I'm already on. And I always try to like think steps ahead. I'm already thinking to next week or to next month, what we're going to do next year. That's what my mind is always. I feel like I live in the future. I'm always in the future. I'm always trying to think about how can I get better for tomorrow? What we need for the next week. And that's the idea of this working for somebody and then it's working for myself. And I do it for both. And I'll go, what do I need to do? We know that if you want to be popular, right, as an entertainer, you need to have different ways to get your name out there. A podcast with you beautiful people watching me is an idea, right? You can do Instagram, Facebook, being out live in shows. There's a bunch of different avenues for it, right? So those are the things I think about. It's like, what are the ways I can be irreplaceable while being the most efficient? That was like being a linchpin. What are those steps? What are those things? Can you do those things to be that person? What does it take to be that person in your field? What does it take? What would you want? If you ran that business that you work at, if there's some place that you want to be at, some position, some job that you want to have, what would you need to do to be that person? It would all fall apart if you leave, if you're not there. Do that now. Just start doing that now. Take initiative. Be that person, okay? So that was linchpin. And I told you about the one thing. So the one thing is what I was talking about earlier about picking one thing. I want to say his name was Jay something. Jay Glasper? I'll find out. But the author was talking about we all have different ideas. I told you guys how talented you are earlier, right? We all know that. How talented and beautiful that you people are. But how many different ways is there to expand upon your one thing? And how many different fields and branches will it take you to? So once your one thing is popular enough, using Kenya Barris as an example, you can go into other fields. And I never thought about that. I thought I always had to do everything right now. I thought I had to do 100 things right now to get to one thing. He's like, do one thing, and then you can do 100 things later. And I see that when I look at like, Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, who's rapping, producing, acting. He was about to do a animated series, Deadpool, for FX. He does so many different things, and I'm like, dude, how do you do all this? And it's like he's at a spot now. Before he was just a writer. This kid did a YouTube, Derek Comedy, and then he got on to 30 Rock. He was a writer on 30 Rock, and then he started doing stand up, and he got a job on Community, and he just never started. Then he started doing music, right? But then he had like more money, more access, more options to do stuff. And then he's on tour doing stand up, rapping, and then in movies. I'm like, hey man, doing Atlanta. But that all started from one thing. And he used to talk about how he would get up at 4 a.m. every single day. But it all started from one thing. And that's the idea. Is like that one thing is going to push into a bunch of different stuff. You know what I mean? So instead of doing 100 things, do one thing. Focus on it. Expand on it. Learn how the different ways that can help you help other people. There's this book called is it Think and Grow Rich? I think it's Think and Grow Rich, and it was like one of these is anybody ever read who does personal development definitely talks about this book, and it's like one of the books from some guy in the early 1900s who tells you no, it's how to influence. Damn it. I'm gonna find this book real quick. Cam can do his magic. Oh no, I kind of like when you guys see me mess up and get tongue tied and shit like that, because then you guys can see the realness, what I really go through doing this. I'm moving myself closer to the mic this time, so Cam doesn't have to direct me. How to influence and gain power. Yeah, Cam at least got a little bit in this. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. This is like one of those books. How to Influence. I'll say it again. It's a long ass title. Why is this title so damn long? How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And this book is the primary thing is talking about how you do something for somebody else, and that's how you get them like it, or talk about somebody else, and that's how you get them to be. That's how you be rememberable. You don't talk about yourself. You talk about other people. Right, and they'll remember you for being interested in all that good stuff, right? And it's like I'm telling you, every single person who has a personal development book will always reference this book. It's like the go-to. And then the other one is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which was not what I'm talking about. All right, so nailing down your focus, planning, right? And then the other one is execution. Okay. So I met this writer. His name is Hugh Moore. Hugh Moore is written for a bunch of shit. You can IMDb him. He's a hilarious stand-up comedian. And Hugh told me 3 things. Hugh said, write every day, read every day, and the last one, that made me mad when he said it, was finish things. Finish things. And I was like, ooh, you son of a bitch. You talking to my soul right now. Because how many ideas are unfinished that you have? How many times have you started something and you got into something else because you didn't finish it? Cam, you have anything you never finished? Yeah, some things sitting around. Something we all do. And once he told me that, I was like, damn, dude, you are not a finisher. You do not execute. You don't execute. Nobody wants somebody who can't finish the job. Nobody wants somebody who can't follow through and execute. Because here's what happens. Things are hard to do. Writing is hard to do. Writing a book, I think, is impossible. I don't know how people do it. Every book I read, I'm like, I don't know how you guys do this shit. This is ridiculous. But like anything that you being an expert on anything is really hard to do, and it gets really old. We get bored, we get distracted. Life happens, which is why you got to have a plan. This is why we talked about that, so you can stick to that every day, because things are going to come up. But then even when something does distract you from a day, you go back to the plan. That's why you need to have your plan like written out. All right. You need to have it written out. And in that plan, it should tell you what you need to do. Everything should be dated. You should have a dates for stuff. So where you expect to be. So you should have a finish by date also. Like you follow that plan till you get there. That's what that is. All right. So I know things get hard. So there's this book called Grit by Martin Meadows. Okay, Grit's like one of these famous books about, persisting through, adverse conditions, adversity. We know what's gonna happen. We know some shit's gonna happen, man. Your car's gonna break down. I know. I've been through this all. I want you guys to know I've been homeless. I've lived in a vehicle. I've had no food. I literally picked fruit off of trees. Okay, I've taken buses everywhere. I walked, and people don't know LA, but you can Google it. I walked from the Hollywood Improv to Lincolnshire and Burbank before because I had no vehicle, but I wanted to go perform. Okay, you can Google it. I gave you the street names and I gave you the Hollywood Improv. Okay, I literally walked from one end of LA to another one night. All right, I did that. No lie. Seriously, look at my eyes. Tell you the truth. I still remember it was painful, and I remember I even fell asleep when I was walking. Fell asleep when I was walking, and I almost walked into the street, and some car honked at me. That's how tired I was. I was literally walking, standing up. All right, and then I was like, "Where am I?" All right, because I've been there. I don't want to hear your excuse. I don't want to hear. You can't tell me excuse. I've been there. Okay. All right. Unless you've been on drugs. I have not been on crack or meth. So you have me there. All right. So anyways, Grit, how to pursue, how to push where you're going. And one of the things that help you with that is this book called Start With Why by Simon Sinek. All right, now Simon Sinek is like this marketing guru who's always talking about start with why, and his thing was more about marketing, but I never thought that was the only use for that. I read that book and I was like, yo, why are we doing what we're doing? Should always push you to continue doing what you're doing. You should think about that every day. Why am I doing this? Why? Like, I know why I pursue comedy. There was two reasons. For one, I had to get a job. I had to get a job. You got to do work at something, so you might as well do something that you're going to love to do every day. Right? And two, it gives me the most joy is making people laugh. I laugh my job is to laugh. It's to make people laugh. Like, that's my gig. And I was like, and that's what I want. That's why I worked so hard to get here. Because I had a lot of days that weren't fun, that I wasn't laughing, and I was loading luggage in in the rain, in the heat. I did that job for 7 years loading luggage, and it sucked, And I did it. But it was like, there's a goal here, man. I could have easily quit and went back home and lived with my parents and went back to school and got some degree and whatever a boring life I would have had, right? So I'm sorry if I called anybody's life boring. All right, who did that? But still, unless you're doing what you love to do, then hey, congrats. All right. But I did that because I knew what my why was the entire time. And then I was like, you know what? This is why we're doing this. There's a goal here. All right. So let's continue to push. And that's that grit. Let's continue to push. You got to execute, man. We got to finish strong. Always that. All right. I can ask a bunch of writers how many ideas they have that are not done. Or how many apps that aren't done. Or how many whatevers, how many workouts are unfinished. How many people left early. How many days you plan to go to the gym and you didn't even lay out your clothes the night before. You got to finish what you start, man. All right, so And even this, here's another example. Let's take Arnold Schwarzenegger. Let's take Terry Crews. Let's take The Rock. Okay, let's take any other buff person. Their core thing they do every single day is workout, right? That led to so many opportunities from just being in shape, being not just in shape, but being ridiculously buff, right? First off, I'm like, unless you're gonna be an entertainer, there's no reason to be that big. I see The Rock's workout on Instagram. I'm like, no one needs to do all that. But he does, because he needs to be that big. Terry Crews, same thing. I'm like, what do you that big for? What are we doing? I see regular people in the gym doing this. I'm like, what are you guys doing this for? Unless you're getting paid to do it. Why are we this big? What's happening, right? What are you doing? But it's like, that's the thing that they focus on. It was like, I got to have this certain body because this is going to lead me to way more opportunities, And I believe that whatever it is, from, like I said, for me right now is a writing. And I know writing has already led me to work and meet so many other talented people who I've idolized growing up, who I respect and work with, in other fields. I'm just like, I couldn't imagine working with this person. I got to work with Kel Mitchell from, All That and Keenan and Kel. And I was so hyped. I was so hyped that I was working, like I was talking to him face to face, and I'm like, yo, I grew, like, you're an icon to me. Like, I grew up watching you. I grew up hoping to be where you are one day, and it was so dope. And I'm like, that comes from not necessarily my stand-up, but that came from writing. Someone else recommended me, and it was like, those are the opportunities that you start to get. I mean, it's like, it's one of many of like the people that was personal for me, because like, it was Kel Mitchell. I'm like, yo, you can't Kel. You Kel. Like, do you know your Kel? He was like, all right, man. And I was trying so hard not to say, do you want orange? Like, he was like, you want anything to drink? I'm like, don't you dare say orange soda. Don't you do it. But I'll ask him one day. All right. So I like, those are the breakdowns of work ethic. I feel like you have to plan your work ethic. You gotta have a plan for your work ethic. You gotta have a plan, and you have to have an end goal. The end goal is important. Write a date when you're gonna finish. Okay. So we talked about laser sharp focus. We talked about the Linchpin by Seth Godin. We talked about The One Thing by somebody. Talked about Grit by Martin Meadows, and we stayed with Start With Why by Simon Sinek. All right, that's 5 books for you to reference. Okay, now who's giving you that? Who's out here giving you 5 books to help you change your life? To start at a starting point. Who? I ask? Me, Chaz Rodgers. Okay. So I don't want to hear no shit, but you don't know where to start. I hate that. I don't know how to begin. Like, just, what do you mean you don't know how to begin? Oh, that's one of the things that upsets me most. You don't know how to start? I just don't know where to start. There's so much to do. Do something. Start somewhere. Start with one of these goddamn books. Stop stalling. All right, get your ass in gear. Seriously. Write some shit down. Seriously. I don't know where to start. Start with writing down your thoughts. And then you can go ask everybody you know. All right, then read some books. There's no excuse not to do what you want to be doing. Zero excuse not to be doing what you want to be doing. And if it's because of you, if it's because of your own work ethic, I just gave you some tools to improve your work ethic. All right, so go find a new excuse, and we'll discuss it next week. All right? All right. Thank you guys for listening. You can like, comment, call me full of shit. All right? Subscribe, and check out your boy, and hopefully that I really hopefully and pray that this is something that people can actually use to springboard their lives. That was the whole idea. Springboard your dreams. All right? All right, peace.